Good morning. How's everybody out here doing today? This beautiful Wednesday morning. Hi. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Gay Nail. And I do these live videos every few days. And I'm glad to have y'all this morning. Glad you're watching. Hey, will y'all excuse me just for 1 minute, okay? I forgot something. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm never prepared, am I? It don't seem like it. How is everybody doing good this morning? I hope so. There's some more sicknesses going around again. Y'all give me just for a sec. I'm going to get my desktop set up, my laptop set up, make sure I'm not upside down. My camera looks crooked this morning. I don't know why my camera looks so crooked, but it does. Oh well. Anyway, we'll see how that is. Let me get this set up right here. I'm glad y'all come by to watch the video this morning on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Y'all, it's been slow this morning. Is y'all's internet slow? But on my laptop, it always seems to be slow. But I'll get it here in just a minute, because I want to make sure it's not sideways. Oh. Anybody got any prayer requests or any praise reports? Hey, I'm ready to hear some good praise reports. I don't know why I'm not seem to be getting it on here. I hope y'all can hear me. Hear the birds hollering this morning. Okay, I think I found it. Okay. Yeah. I am very slow at this. I'm sorry. But I don't want it to be sideways and upside down again. And I can tell my camera's a little sideways this morning. Alright, let's see if that works. Oh, y'all had y'all's coffee yet this morning? Oh, that wind feels nice out here. Oh, well, y'all, I just felt like getting on here this morning. God's so good. He is so great to us. He is worthy to be praised this day, every day, y'all. God is awesome. Yes, He is. We serve an awesome God. Don't y'all know that? Oh, can y'all see the lake? Trying to get the lake in the background this morning so you'll have a good view. My camera is a little tilted sideways, but I'm afraid to mess with it because I might make it worse this morning. Oh, y'all, I didn't sleep good last night. I was awake too early this morning. So, it is so pretty outside. Y'all, I'm just scattered this morning. I'll be talking about this and I'll jump over on that. But isn't it a beautiful day? Yep, my camera's a little bit tilted, but that's fine. Well, y'all, I just want to hop on here and I want to read a verse or two to you. How about that? I had something else in mind, but I didn't. I saw something else and I said, well, this one is what I got to be talking on. And y'all, I don't want to be on here and make everybody feel depressed and worried, but we're not supposed to be worrying, because the Bible says in the last days you're going to hear of wars and rumors of war, but don't let your heart be troubled. But if God is speaking to you to do something, He spoke something yesterday to me in my spirit, and then someone called and confirmed what He had just spoken to me. You know what He spoke to me? You know what He spoke to me? He said, get more rice. Get more rice. And then later someone called me and confirmed it to me by saying, hey, you need to be stocking up on water and food in case our power grid gets hit. I said, oh my, they don't know it, but they just confirmed what God had just spoke to me that morning, to buy more, get more rice. So, hey, I just want to be obedient. He said, get it. I went and got it yesterday, so I don't know. He didn't tell me how much to get. So, hey, I don't know, but we got to be obedient, y'all. We don't have to be fearful. God will take care of us. And if He's telling you to do something, pay attention. Listen to Him when He's speaking. Listen to Him. You say, oh, that was just me thinking that. No. If it's something that you wouldn't have been thinking about, that was God. Because it's a strong thought. Sometimes when you hear Him speak, sometimes it's like a strong thought. So if He's telling you to do something, be obedient and do it. It's to help you, and because God knows what is coming, and we don't see the future. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not on here to scare anybody, to bring anybody down and get them to worry, because the Bible says don't be worried about what's going on. Don't be worried. Don't be fearful. So I just want to tell you what He told me. So He's trying to get us to be prepared, like the ants. They prepare in the winter, the summer for the winter, don't they? And I think that's what He's doing. He's trying to prepare us. Be ready, because you never know. Hey, you never know what's going to happen with what's going on overseas and what could happen. So y'all, just don't be fearful, but be ready. He gives us the wisdom and the knowledge to do the things that needs to be done. You don't, just be prepared, okay? That ain't what I got on here to talk about this morning, but I never know what He wants me to say. I wasn't going to say that this morning on here, because a lot of people gets worried when you're talking about stuff like this. But it's not to worry, it's to make you be prepared, be ready for anything that's coming. But the most important thing is make sure your soul is ready, that you're ready to meet the Lord if He should come today. We don't know when that day is going to be, or if this is our day to go out and meet our Savior, our Father, whoever your father is. We got to be ready to go out and meet the Lord if he should come today, or if we should go see him. We don't know. So we need to always be ready, but then make sure you listen to what he's saying to you. He's told me to do stuff before, and I did it. And I know I talked to someone else one time, and they told me that God is telling her what to do. And she was listening and being obedient. I won't call no names, but she was being obedient to God and doing what he told her to do, getting prepared. Prepare. This is the time to prepare, y'all. Be prepared. Don't let it catch you off guard. Don't be caught off guard. Last night the power went off. About 2:15. And it was dark. And I was thinking, well, what if this was that power grid that hit, What if our power had got knocked out last night, What if this was it? And I was thinking, Lord, what would I need if it did happen? Because we don't know if it will happen or if it'll happen or whatever. So, but we need to be prepared. And it was dark. I said, oh, it's so dark in here. So I started thinking, what would I need if it really went off and stayed off? So, y'all, we just need to be prepared. Don't be worried and stressful over it. Be prepared, and it won't catch you off guard, whatever comes our way, okay? And I think you should always have a bag packed and ready to go if you had to leave in an emergency. Survival stuff. I don't mean to get on here and talk this way this morning, y'all, but this is the way I feel led going now. Just have a survival bag ready if you had to leave your home in a hurry. Put stuff in it that you think you would need if you was living out in the woods or something. What would you have in that bag to survive? What would you need? What would you have? But always keep it there, because you never know when you're going to need it. When you're going to have to leave your home for some reason or another. Now listen, I'm not telling you this to try to depress you and get you scared and worried. We don't live in fear. God's on our side. He rained manna down from heaven to the one time for the people that was in need, and he can do it again. He can do it again if it needs to be, but he does tell us to prepare, be ready. We need to prepare. And if he's speaking to you about something, he spoke to me about the rice. He said, get more rice. And it was for a reason. He don't just, and it was confirmed to me by somebody that don't call me maybe once a month or something like that. And okay, let's get off of that subject, okay? But just be prepared. Listen. If you hear the Lord telling you to do something, do it. Don't think it's just you thinking it. That's your thoughts. No. Listen to him, and don't think you're crazy because of what you're hearing. No. Just be obedient to his word, what he says. God still speaks to his people. A lot of people says he don't speak. He does speak to us. He still speaks to us. I hear somebody say one time, he speaks to us, but he speaks to us through his word right here. That's true. But he'll still speak to you now. New words, if you'll listen. It's not just all in here. He's still speaking today. He didn't lose his voice, y'all. He still has a voice. Do we still have ears to hear? Huh? Do we still have ears to hear him when he speaks? Because he's still speaking. He didn't hush after he wrote this Bible. This word was put into this book. He didn't stop talking then. A lot of people think, well, he'll speak to you, but he speaks to you in his word. Hey, I'm here to tell you, he'll speak to you. If you'll listen, he's speaking to you. A woman told me one time, she said, I never heard God speak to me. And I was thinking, man, he does, but maybe you're not listening. Maybe you're not listening. And this was a preacher's wife that told me that, y'all. A preacher's wife told me that. She said, I never hear God speak. Well, I do. I know his voice. He said, my sheep know my voice. I ain't saying she wasn't his sheep, but if he speaks, but sometimes you don't recognize his voice and you'll think it's your thoughts. You're thinking this stuff, but it's not. It's the Lord speaking to you through your spirit, through his spirit. And just listen. If you feel led to do something, if you feel like he's telling you to do something, to be prepared, listen to him. Listen to what he has to say to you. That's the first thing I heard yesterday morning, what he spoke to me. I mean, right when I got up, I heard it. And I was thinking, what? Rice? Okay. I was like, okay. And then it was confirmed to me later by someone had called me and asked me, are you storing up water and food? Are you getting ready? Because we might have a power grid go down. And I said, oh, I'm going to get my rice. I don't know why the Lord said rice, but it's rice. I got rice. But I'm going to get me probably go get some more rice. Hey, you never know. Never know. He didn't tell me how much to get, but he just said get some rice. Okay. So it might sound foolish to us, but later on, if I needed it to eat, it wouldn't be foolish then, would it? We serve a God, and he loves his children, and he takes care of his children. He's there for us, and he'll lead and guide us. Yes, he leads and guides us. Yes, he will. He'll lead and guide you wherever you need to go and what you need to do. But you need to stop and listen to him. Like I said, sometimes it might be like a strong thought comes to you. Something a lot of times that you're not even thinking nothing about something, and a strong thought comes to you. That's the way I hear him sometimes, and I don't. And I know it's him, it's not me, because yesterday morning when I heard him, I knew it wasn't me. I knew it wasn't my thoughts. I knew it was God speaking to me. So, let me fix this. I got some pop-ups on the desktop here, and I can't see the comments. Y'all, I am going to read a verse to you this morning, okay? This ain't what I was just talking about. It has nothing to do with what I was just talking about, but it's going to be in 1 Samuel 3, and starting in verse 3, or verse 1, chapter 3, verse 1, 1 Samuel. And the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open visions. When they heard God, it was precious to them back then, wasn't it? And there was no open visions, but they heard the voice of God. And it came to pass at that time when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. See, Eli, he went blind. He went blind, and in the air the lamp of the Lord went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep. Samuel laid down to sleep, and that the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, "Here am I." Samuel had laid down, and the Lord called Samuel, and he said, "Here am I," and he ran unto Eli. He thought he was calling him, and he said, "Here am I, for thou calledst me." And he said, "I called not. Lie down again." And he went and lay down. And the Lord called yet again, and Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for thou didst call me." And he answered, "I called not, my son. Lie down again." His father told him, "Go lie down again. I didn't call you." But Samuel kept hearing somebody calling him, and he thought it was his father. And he said it wasn't him to go lie down. And he went and laid down again. But you ever felt like you hear somebody calling your voice? I used calling your name. I used to a lot. Just be doing different things, and I almost did sound like somebody would say, "Gaynell." You know, I'd hear that several times, and I thought I was just hearing things. And the Lord called Samuel again the third time, and he rose and went to Eli and said, it says 3 times he's called him now, and he said, "Here am I, for thou didst call me." And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. He knew, Samuel heard somebody calling him, and Eli knew it wasn't him, so it had to be the Lord. And he told it, and therefore Eli said unto Samuel, "Go lie down, go back to bed and lie down. And it shall be, if he calls you again, that you shall say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth." So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And the Lord came and stood and called as other times. Let me read this again. This is verse 10. It says, "And the Lord came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered." And here's what I wanted you to hear today. This is the word I wanted you to hear today. Then Samuel answered, "For thy servant heareth." Samuel said, "Speak, for thy servant heareth." The Lord called him 4 times before he answered. He called him 3 times, but on the 4th time he said, "Speak, Lord, for your servant heareth." How many times has the Lord called us? How many times has the Lord called you? Has he called you 1 time, 2 times, 3 times? And you ignored him? Maybe he's called you 3 times. You know, when God calls you, it's not always to get up behind a pulpit in the church and preach. There's other things God can call you for. So when he calls you, on that 4th time, if his task you had to call you 4 times, on that 4th time say, "Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth." That's what we need to be saying. "Lord, speak. I hear you. Speak, Lord. Speak to me." That's what we need to be saying these days, y'all. Speak to me, Lord. Because there's people out there watching this video, and I know God's done called you more than 3 times. I know he's called you and called you and called you. And you just turn away from him. You've turned away from him because you're scared to answer the call. You know he's called you to do something. He's calling you to do something, and you're afraid. Like I said, it's not always to preach behind the pulpit. God's got a lot of work to be done out there in this world. And it's not always preaching behind the pulpit. He could have you just do a lot of different things. You don't never know what it is. And there's a lot of things to be done. So don't be afraid. If the Lord's calling you, answer Him. If you know He's calling you, answer Him and say, Lord, your servant, hear it. Hey, speak, Lord. Speak to me. I want Him to speak to me, y'all. If you don't want to hear from Him, I do. I want Him to speak to me. I want to hear Him, and I want to see Him too. I want Him to speak to me. I want to hear what He's got to say. So, what I'd have you to tell you today, I feel like telling you this. When the Lord's called you, and I know He has, and you know He has too, you know it. Nobody has to tell you if the Lord's called you, you know it. If you've got a calling on your life, you know it. Nobody's going to have to tell you, because you and God knows it. You might try to ignore it. Like, oh, I didn't hear that. No, He wasn't really calling me. He couldn't use me. I couldn't do nothing for Him. I can't speak. Like Moses, when Moses said, I can't speak. Had trouble speaking. Like Benny Hinn, he stuttered when he was little. He stuttered. God healed him from that. You might find all kinds of excuses to not answer the call. Maybe you're shy. Hey, you feel backwards. You feel like you can't talk in public. You feel like you can't speak to people. You feel like you can't go and do anything for some reason. But if you heard Him calling, and He does call more than one time. He called you. He called Samuel 3 times, didn't He? But Eli told him on the fourth time, said, go lay down, and when He calleth, say, speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. So I would ask you today, if you're hearing a call if you're hearing that call on your life, God, for 2 days in a row, I heard a call going out, and it was loud and it was clear. It was loud. And I know it's still going out just because I don't hear it. I know the call is still going and going. It will go on, I believe, till the Lord comes back. That call is still going out, and people is hearing. So if you're hearing a special call in your life, and you know God is calling you for something, you know it. Like I said, you know it. Why are you running from it? There's no need running. You can't hide. God knows where you're at. Don't run from Him. Answer the call, and you get right in the center of the will He has for your life, and you'll be so happy. You'll be so blessed. So answer the call. Say, here, Lord, speak, Lord. I'm listening this time. I'll speak to you this time. Don't be like Jonah and try to run to Nineveh. God told him to go to Nineveh, and then he run away. And what happened to him, Jonah? He run from God. Look, things can happen if you run from God. Look what happened to Jonah. He got in the whale's belly, didn't he? The big fish's belly. He got swallowed by a big fish because he didn't go to Nineveh like God told him to do. He wanted to go preach to those people, and he didn't want to. He didn't want God to save them people. He didn't want to go. Oh, but look what happened to him. And once he got out of that belly of that fish, He vomited him up on dry land. Look what happened. He ran to Nineveh. He made it quick, didn't he? He didn't waste no time getting there. So let's answer the call today. Let's answer Him. I know there's people out there that's run and said, why should I do anything? I mean, why, Lord? You can't use me. I'm not usable. I'm broken. God likes to take the broken and mend it and shape it and mold it into His image. He can use you. Let Him. But
But He's just waiting for you to say, "Speak, Lord, your servant hears. Speak." He's just waiting on you to listen to Him. He's called you a bunch of times. And you know it. Like I said, you know it. Nobody has to tell you that you feel something different. You feel like God's wanting you to do something and you just don't know what it is. But you know there's something there that God's wanting you to do. That's what I felt all for years and years and years. I felt like, I know God's wanting me to do something. I don't know what. Every time they would have the church I used to go through at Susan Moore, it was called Mount Zion Church of God. Every time somebody'd get up to be ordained, I'd hear the Lord speak to me loud and clear, "You should be up there." And I'd just start crying. Every time somebody'd get up there to be ordained, I'd hear, "You should be up there." See, God knows what He has for us to do, and we don't understand it. I didn't understand that back then, years ago, a long time ago. But finally I did. I got ordained at the church I'm at now. And, but see, I tried to get up behind the pulpit and preach some, but I felt like that wasn't it. That wasn't. You're supposed to be comfortable with your calling, whatever it is. You'll feel at ease and peace with it. And I felt that's not. I don't feel it. I don't feel this is it. I've tried it. I don't feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But when I started these home videos, I felt such a peace and comfort. Like, this is it. This is what I've been feeling for over 20 years. I've been feeling this. And this is what it is. To be on here talking to y'all sweet people today. That's what it is. And I didn't know. I was scared and I run. I did. It wasn't because I'm a woman that people said women can't preach. I don't listen to that. I don't listen to that because I know several women in the Bible. Hey, the woman at the well, didn't she? She took off to town telling people about Jesus. What do you call that? To me, that's preaching. When the women went to the tomb and Jesus was risen, they went to tell. They started telling about Jesus. He's risen. Hey, what do you call that? Preaching? Hey, God can use anybody. He'll use anything. He'll use anybody that will let Him use them. He's just looking for a willing vessel. Why don't you be that willing vessel today and say, "Okay, Father, I'll do it. Whatever it is, I'll do it." It's going to be something He knows you'll be comfortable in, that you'll be able to do it, because you should enjoy your calling. And some is called to get behind the pulpit and preach. They're comfortable with it. They enjoy it. Some is street preachers. They get out and minister on the street to the homeless. And some just, there's different callings. God has different callings He can use you for. But just answer the call. Answer it. Okay? And I thank y'all for watching these videos, and I'm going to get off here. I don't want to make it too long. And remember, if you hear a calling, if you hear a strong thought, it's not your thought. It's God speaking to you. Listen to what He's telling you, okay? Yes. We don't have much time left here, y'all. We don't have it. We're living in the last days. I believe we're in the last minutes. I believe the clock is just about to strike 12. And when it does, whew, hallelujah, we get to go to our forever home. This ain't my forever home. God's prepared something much better for me and you. This ain't our forever home. This is just our dressing room. This is the place to get ready to go to your forever home. He's going to prepare for you. Glory to God. And what a day that's going to be, y'all. So, y'all, let's don't live in fear of what's coming. Don't be fearful. Just be prepared. Be prepared. Don't be fearful, but be prepared. Okay? And God will bring you through anything that you have to go through. He'll be with us. He said, I'll never leave you or forsake you. I'll be with you even to the end of the world. And He will, y'all. So I thank y'all for coming by watching this video this morning. And I'm going to let y'all go. And so y'all, thank you. And I hope you will come back to watch another video. They're always different. You never know what I'm going to say or do on here. But hey, I enjoy having y'all. Y'all sweet people. And thank you for coming by. And I love y'all. And y'all have a blessed rest of the day. Love y'all and talk to you next time. Bye. Hey, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Country Girl and Her Bible. And like on Facebook too, okay? All right. Thank you. Bye. Love y'all.